Welcome back. In this video we'll talk about piano registers specifically and how they may affect our arrangement and our recording decisions. So the piano is often considered a boss instrument because its range goes into the extremes. It goes lower than where an electric bass guitar would go. It goes really high into some super pluck, horror, dreamscape territory as well. And in a lot of styles of music, like classical for example, we sometimes use the whole range and we create pieces that take advantage of that. However, in some modern styles, or in most modern styles, say pop, rock, jazz, blues, etc., it's useful to think about the piano in terms of registers. And this is useful because we often play with other musicians. So if there's a bass player in the band, we might want to stay away from the bass register. If there's a soloist in the band playing sax or synth, we might want to stay away from the solo register, the high register. So let's just have a look at how we could potentially split the piano into registers that are useful for arrangement, performance and recording. So a very safe range is to stay between this E and this F when we are playing our chords, whether it's with the right hand or with the left hand. Why this is useful? Because a lot of our bass frequencies or bass lines can use this area over here up to this E. And our soloing can use this area above this F over here. Let me demonstrate this with a bunch of just a very basic chord sequence. We'll use a classic 1, 2, 6, 5. The 1 is major, the 2 is minor, the 6 is minor and the 5 is major again. If you were playing very simple triads, we're going to try and fit all of our triads within this little range here. So here's a C major chord. Here's our D minor chord. See, we're using an inversion that keeps within this range. Here's our A minor chord. And here's a G major chord. That's our 1, 2, 6, 5, all of them fitting in because of the inversions we used within this range. I'm going to be running a bit of a jazz-inspired example for the next few demonstrations. So let's just try and extend our chords a little bit by adding 7ths, and then 9ths, and then 13ths. The reason I'm doing this is to show how we need to fit those more complex chords, those more complex inversions still within the same range. So here we go. Let's add 7ths to our 1, 2, 6, 5. That's a C7, still fitting within this range. Here's our D minor 7th, also within this range. Here's our A minor 7th, also within the range, and here's our G major 7th, also within this range. Now let's add 9ths. What I'm doing in order to play the 9ths is I'm removing the root of the chord and playing the 9th right next to it. Again, all of those inversions fitting in within this little range. Now let's add 13ths. You probably noticed on the A13th, I just went over my prescribed range by 1 note. That's absolutely fine. Again, I could play that inversion a little bit differently and have the F sharp down there. By using this register just for our chords, which in jazz we call comping, rhythmical playing of the chords, let's see how we could add a bass line to that, or a solo. Again, restricting the chords in that little range. So what we just did there, the chords stay in this register here, the bass line has some freedom to move around here. I'm playing a walking bass line and again staying in a very defined register. Why this is important for our recording techniques is because we will be using the microphone on a phone device, so we might want to look at where the hammers and the strings action is to decide where we want to place the microphone when we are ready to record. I'll play now the same musical example, but I'm going to comp with my left hand in this area here, and I'm going to play a little lead line or solo with the right hand in this area here. You might want to look at the hammers and the strings and see where the action is. Here we go. Now, the savvier amongst you may have noticed that I flattened the 13th on the A minor 13th chord, and this is just because it felt better with this melody, with this little solo idea, and there's freedom to do that. Anyway, this is not a course on jazz harmony or arrangement, but the reason we are looking at registers, bass register, middle register, solo register, is because the way we play and the sort of song structure we create may affect our recording ideas. And this is what we'll be doing in the next video.